Hi everyone, this is a Thoughts with Queen T. Teddy, no baby, you can't be, I don't want kisses right now. Teddy, come on. Yes, I love you too button. So, as you've seen in some, there we go. No, honey, no honey, come on. As you've seen in some of my other videos, he co-stars in, just because he licks my hand. And so this video is going to be, talking about him and, all that jazz. So here is Thoughts with Queen T. So a little bit of background on Teddy. He is almost 8 years old. He is a mini Australian Shepherd, and the color, like all the splotches and everything, he's a red sable. And some of my friends think with his eyes, because they're really a light blue, they joke and they're like, he can see ghosts. I don't know if that's true. Daddy, honey, come on. Yes, I love you too button. But how I found him was, so COVID just kind of, kicked off in 2020. I've almost had him for 2 years. Got him, honestly, like the first week of July in 2020. And, I was checking adoption places and everything because I knew a puppy wouldn't be right for me. And I needed, I knew I wouldn't have the time, especially if, I'd be headed back to the office soon and everything. Yes, I gave in, button. Teddy, please. Honey. I knew I'd be headed back to the office at some point, and I just knew I wouldn't have time to potty train and all that, which they done proved me wrong. I could have done it, but he popped up one week when I was looking, and I'm really thorough. I want to make sure, do they need a fence? Do they need, because I can take him to the park, but where I'm at, I don't have a fence readily available, so he can't just go run around. And I feel like that's not fair to him or any dog that needs all that activity. And so I was reading his description and everything, and there was no picture. So I was like, something kept drawing me to it. And so I was like, I'm going to put in for it. And really all it was an email and why you wanted him. And so I didn't hear anything back. It was kind of middle of the week-ish, like a Wednesday when I sent that application. And I thought I would have heard something by the weekend. So I was like, I'm just going to stop by, see what's going on. They did have COVID restrictions, so they had to make sure they had an allotted time for you to come. Luckily, when I went, it was right when they opened, so no one was really there. And so I asked, I'm like, hey, I'm just curious, where am I on this adoption list, to look at him and everything. And she was like, there was 30 applications. I'm still sorting through all of them. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bother you or anything. I was just curious. And she was like, yeah, no, you're fine. But yeah, I was basically at the bottom of the totem pole. And I asked her, I'm like, it kind of how the process goes and everything. And she's like, well, I've got to sort them all through and, want to make sure he gets the best home and everything. And I'm like, that's understandable. I get that. So I left that day kind of well, I'm probably not going to get him. Because if there's 30 people ahead of me, I'm not going to get him. But then Tuesday, I got a call the following literally 3 days later, I got a call and they're like, can you come see him? And I'm like, yes, I will make that happen. And she explained to me when I got there, she's like, yeah, a lot of people just came and they were like, oh, we just wanted to see him. Like they just came to see him. Like they really didn't plan on adopting him by the sounds of it. And I was like, that's not mean. Like that's fine. But I was like, that'd be sad. Like as a dog, you see all these potential families and then none of them take you. And literally she brought him out. So like they had a fenced area and like I went in there to wait for him. And literally the moment he came out, I was like, yep, I'm getting him. Like, I don't know, there was something like his energy and he was just so happy. And, we played in their little area and all he did was like follow me around and he was just really attentive and he loves belly rubs. Like anytime a human being gets close to him, he just assumes, oh, I'm gonna get belly rubs and like lays on the floor, kind of like what he's doing now. And is like exposes his belly and everything, and that's what he would do every time I would pet him. And I'm like, yep, you're gonna come home with me. And later I had him documented as my ESA because that's also something I was looking into with getting a dog, because I do live alone. Winters are really bad for me mentally, for especially my depression, but I have really bad anxiety as well. And so just having him around makes the days definitely a little better. And then, so like my final thought on that is if you have the means and, whether it's a cat, a hamster, a guinea pig, dog, etc., if you have the means and you can make it work, like be responsible about it. I highly recommend it, especially if like you need a little extra company, because a pet honestly makes things better. Like I can't tell you scientifically how that happens, but I know there's papers on it and all that jazz, so like you can go read those. But I don't know, there's just something about pets and everything that just make people who, have maybe like bad days or, have mental health problems, like it just makes the days a little better. And, too, with his background, he also has anxiety. Like anytime I leave him, he gets like, he starts shaking and, he's really dependent as well on me. So, I mean, it's a match made in heaven, I suppose. But, that's kind of his story. And it also, like, I think he's really dependent on me because his last owner, he was really close with the dad, and the dad died of cancer. And so the family could tell, like, once that happened, he didn't know what to do. And, the mom also had a in-home daycare center. And so at some point she had to choose, like, do I keep the dog or do I keep the business? And so that's how he went into the adoption shelter. So, now he's spoiled. I give him everything under the sun, and he he's my little rock and I'm his. So that's just, you know, kind of a vlog, but also like my thoughts on, you know, pets and, you know, in regards to your mental health. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe. You know, no pressure. And leave a comment if you'd like. And I will talk to you all later. Bye.